Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय, जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Good morning. So everyone has had breakfast? Okay. So the things that we know so far. In the town of present day Vidyanagar, there used to live a very learned scholar. Since a very early age, the gentleman was attracted to living a life of renunciation and following all the principles that would help one lead a very pure life. Growing up, the gentleman became a very great scholar of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And within the Srimad Bhagavatam, he found so much inspiration for practicing regulative principles and for seeking liberation. The Srimad Bhagavatam became his very life and soul, and therefore he took up to the profession of being a Bhagavatam reciter. His life or his lifestyle was so simple and attractive that he gathered many followers. And whenever he would describe to them the different aspects of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the audience would feel inspired. They would feel inspired to hear more about the various personalities mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The audience would feel inspired to follow principles that would help them be situated in the mode of goodness. The audience was inspired to have the Srimad Bhagavatam at home and read the Srimad Bhagavatam too. Hence, he was known as a very powerful Pandit. His name was Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit would read about devotional service and would read about the process of bhakti in the Srimad Bhagavatam. and you'd find it inspiring too. However, he considered bhakti to be just a stepping stone towards liberation. And hence, in his descriptions and rendition of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he would glorify liberation or mukti as a topmost destination. When the scholar and popular reciter of the Bhagavatam met Vakreshwar Pandit, his heart was transformed. And the reason his heart was transformed was he could identify himself with Vakreshwar Pandit's personality. The great Vakreshwar Pandit was also very renounced since his very early childhood. Vakreshwar Pandit was completely detached from all material allurements. And his detachment or his commitment towards a simple lifestyle was inspired by his devotion towards Lord Krishna. So according to certain historians and historical references, when Sri Devananda Pandit went forward to catch Vakreshwar Pandit and prevent him from falling to the ground, that act of Devananda Pandit was inspired by a pure instinct to serve. Having been always worshipped as a great teacher and scholar, he would have people render service unto him. And being very simple-hearted and not having any material desires, gross material desires, it would appear that he was very humble in not accepting those services. However, he had never ever had the opportunity to associate with another great personality. He had never the opportunity to associate with somebody who was as sincere as him, as dedicated as him, and the sincerity and dedication was inspired by this pure feelings of service towards Krishna. He had never ever met a personality like that. He had never closely associated with the personality who had such devotion towards Lord Krishna. And when, according to certain historians, when he did catch hold of Vakreshwar Pandit, he actually brought him to his house. And he let him take rest. He offered him some hospitality. And then Vakreshwar Pandit started describing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because Vakreshwar Pandit's heart was so filled with love and devotion for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his heart was so devoid of material name, fame, prestige, and wealth, it struck this great scholar to see him have so much affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could see that his affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was deep. He could understand that his affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unalloyed. He could understand that his affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in dedication to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he couldn't really figure out how could somebody be attached without wanting material benefits. Because when you're attached to some other person, that attachment is born of your own desires to enjoy. That is how normally the attachments in this material world are. And that is what we have to be careful of, even when we are in the association of devotees, that our attachment is not based on such material connections that, oh, this person is my person, this person is not my person. It happens, this is natural, this is how human society has always tried to exist, by having divisions. Oh, you're from India, I'm from India too. You've never seen each other. You've spent your entire life having Caucasian neighbors. And this one person comes over from India and you're like, oh, my long lost friend has come. My family member has come. Or you are from Bengal, I'm also from Bengal. You may have lived your entire life with Maharashtrians and Delhiites and Tamil people, but Bengal and Bengal, it seems as if you've met your long lost brother. This is how attachments are formed, and this is how divisions appear in human society. What to speak of if you are from the same city? Then every other city in your state is your distant cousin. But the person from your own city is your like blood brother. And that bond becomes so very strong when it is actually your own brother or sister, your sibling. This is how material relationships are powerful. And similarly, it could happen in Vaishnava society. Divisions could happen based on when did you take initiation? 1971 batch, 1992 batch. I'm also from 1992 batch. There could be clashes of interests, conflict of interests. If two people of the 1992 batch do not receive the same kind of respect, if one person receives more respect, then the other person feels, oh, this is not good training being given. The training should be that both should receive similar respect. The concept is correct. The motivation may not be correct. The motivation is, I am not getting similar respect. Let me use the principles for my own benefit. So such divisions in society is called as skin disease. These divisions are born out of this idea that since my skin has a particular texture, color, religion, social connection, therefore anyone else who's of a similar skin is my own, and the others are different. We are all part and parcels of Krishna. We can never be part and parcels of any other entity. It's not possible. Hence, as part and parcels of Krishna, we all have the qualities of Krishna in infinitesimal quantities. Quantitatively, we are different from Krishna. Krishna is great, we are small. And the only reason we offer respect to others is because we feel ourselves unqualified in front of them. Respect is not born from position. Respect related to position, respect related to status is material. Respect born from the gratitude of one's heart. It heals people. Hence we hear often we hear that one should never demand anything. One should have such qualities that we command respect. It is difficult because we are convinced of the philosophy of survival of the fittest. Now, survival is important. For what? To achieve what? What is survival important for? If survival is just important so that one day we go to our grave with so many citations with us, how does it matter whether we have 10 citations and another person has 3 citations? The fire that burns up a dead body is not going to distinguish between 10 citations and 3 citations. So, if ultimately we are not going to be discriminated in any ways, then where is the discrimination that we have now coming from? This is illusion, this is Maya. The conception of discrimination, which from the perspective of time exists for a very limited period, is illusion, is Maya. Between birth and death, the time span is very minute. Therefore, it is not really helpful to use all of our energies just to collect what are ultimately dust particles. Profit, adoration, fame, these are all anarthas. These anarthas suffocate the creeper of devotion. And that is how one's devotional practices seem so bland. There is no taste in our devotional practices. We have taken out the essentials, the necessary spices out of our own practices. We filter it out by running after the illusory idea of name, fame, profit, and adoration. To be decorated with the qualities of humility, sincerity, and service is not just the goal of a devotional practice, but it is the truth, it is the absolute truth. By nature, the spirit soul is humble. If we are not humble, we will not be able to render service. So humility is not just a quality that we need. Humility is basically our very life. That is what identifies one. Jivere Sharupe Krishnera Nityadas. So what is humility? This understanding that all of us are parts and parcels of Krishna. However, real inspiration is when we see somebody else serve Krishna and we accept that their service is glorious and we want to use our own facilities to render service such that we can be inspired to do as much as others are doing. It is not a material competition where we want to replace them by our own qualifications. It is where we are inspired to use our own qualities to serve Krishna as much as they are doing, because that is an inspiration to us. This is the spiritual world. This is what really inspires the spirit soul. These are just words that we read in the books. These are the words that we look up to. This idea is what we look up to. But just looking up to is not enough. We have to raise ourselves to that platform that we are looking up to. We have to bring ourselves to come to that platform of sincere humility. The externals of humility is like bending down, offering obeisances, being very gentle in one's speech and action. These are the externals of humility. Because these actions allow us to use our bodily senses to practice that which is our real nature. We have the body, we have to use it. The body is dead. The body cannot of itself express humility. However, the body as an instrument can be used to express humility. However, if you take a dead body and you put the dead body in the Dandvat mode, is anyone going to say, oh, this dead body is so humble? If you put the dead body in the that Vanchakalpataru mode, is anyone going to glorify that? Because it's a dead body. There's no life in it. And if there is life, but the attitude in which we use our instruments is similar to being like a dead body, then although we may be offering obeisances, it is as if a dead carcass is offering obeisances. So, these principles are not understood by just study of the scriptures. They are not understood just by listening to great people speak. These principles are understood by serving great personalities. Devanand Pandit had all the information that he needed because he had read the Srimad Bhagavatam more number of times than most probably the entire congregation here has done it. It's possible. And still he missed out on the concept, on the goal of life as being service unto Krishna. He felt the goal of life is liberation. Now, in a very humorous sense, for many of us, the goal of life could be just getting our Bhakti Shastri done. And once the Bhakti Shastri is done, Prabhu, as of now, our movement is not offering any more certificates. It's very rare to find a person who does a double Bhakti Shastri. Postdoc Bhakti Shastri, most of them are like, we are done for this lifetime. Next lifetime we'll try it again. Because that knowledge that we are accepting is motivating us towards liberation. Everything that we read is simply towards when would the day come when we don't have to go to regular classes like this. Unless and until we will have to give classes. Oh, if we have to give those classes, very nice, I would be there. Because name, fame, profit, adoration, it's very helpful. And also there is service, Prabhu, there's service too. Not everyone is like that, not all speakers are like that. But this is an obstacle, this is there. So, Thakur Bhaktivinoda says that having received so much knowledge, I have simply become an ass, carrying this burden of knowledge over myself. My dear Lord Gauranga, please relieve me of this burden. Without knowledge, we won't even come to the understanding that knowledge is not going to help us to understand Krishna. That's the catch. At the same time, if we do not associate and serve great personalities, we could begin with the understanding that knowledge is supposed to bring us to Krishna, but ultimately there is a possibility, and a great possibility, that the very knowledge can make us attracted towards liberation. And that is what happened to this great Pandit, Devananda Pandit. So when he served Vakreshwar Pandit, and when he heard Vakreshwar Pandit glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, glorify the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all those reports that Devananda Pandit had heard about Nimai Pandit, he had heard about Gauranga, he had heard about how Lord Gauranga had talked to the Qazi, those reports had come to Devananda Pandit. They must have come to him. In fact, the whole town of Navadvip knew about it. But now hearing it through the mouth of Vakreshwar Pandit, especially when his heart was ready to accept the mood of Devananda Pandit, not just the information that Devananda Pandit was offering. Devananda Pandit was speaking words, but his words were deeply imbued by the affection that he had for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once I was on this plane ride. I've heard many devotees give this realization, and I was fortunate enough also to have this experience and realization. There was this lady sitting in the seat next to me on the plane, and it was like a 2.5 hours plane ride. And she was a very chirpy lady. Must be in her late 40s, 50s maybe. So who are you? What do you do? And somehow we got to speaking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I explained to her, she kind of knew Krishna, and therefore I felt, why not introduce Krishna Chaitanya to her? So I did that. And I don't know, generally, if those of you who know me, I am a little jnani. Rarely I sometimes kind of speak on pastimes. But here I was describing to her Mayapur Dham, I was describing to her little Nimai's pastimes, Shri Gauranga's little pastimes, childhood pastimes. And towards the end, she said, I liked all the stories. It would take me some time to really understand and accept that there is Krishna Chaitanya. But I want to be like you. And I was like, I've had so many plane rides, why couldn't I influence everyone else? How did my presence influence this lady? And then I realized, because I was happy speaking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was so happy and grateful speaking about Lord Gauranga that I had forgotten that I was Rohini Priya Das. I had forgotten that I had to go and deliver lectures somewhere. I had completely forgotten about my existence in this material world. I did not have to deliver any goals. For a moment, later on I realized that I had experienced something very beautiful. Free from any upadhi. And then I realized what actually brought me back to the earth. I was like really going towards Goloka Vrindavan, and I crashed down towards the earth again. Was maybe I'm a great person now. I had that experience. Maybe I'm a pure devotee. Boom! That fall was so severe that immediately the thirst for more prestige, making people be attracted towards me, came back. It's possible. It happens. This is a struggle that we are going through the process of purification. So purification means we have to come face to face with the impurities too, our challenges too. Now, it would be a nice story if we had stayed in touch and that lady was in touch and I could give her details to you so that you can check up my story, whether it's just a real story or not. But no, I don't have her details. Because that has never happened to me. It has never happened that somebody would, as they were, we were like departing towards our different destinations, they make a comment like that. I just want to be like you. She didn't want to be a renunciate. She didn't want to be a Hare Krishna. She wanted to be as happy as I was when I was speaking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Devananda Pandit had that moment in his life. He transformed. That is when he actually started feeling so anxious to have the association of Sri Gauranga. And because he was not having the association of Sri Gauranga, he felt himself disqualified. He felt himself being sinful. He felt himself being so unfortunate. And when he felt that he was so unfortunate, all of his understandings of liberation melted away. His attraction towards jnana disappeared. It just disappeared completely. And now, every day, he was always anxious to have the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was always anxious for that. Please let us look back into our own lives. The past week, how anxious were we for Krishna? Let's say the past year. What was our anxiety for seeking Krishna's blessings? If not the past year, the past month. If not the past month, the past week. If not the past week, just yesterday. Because anxiety for Krishna is what defines certain aspects of the spiritual world. Mother Yashoda is always anxious for the happiness of Krishna. Nanda Maharaj is always concerned about the welfare of Krishna. The Brajabasis are concerned about the welfare of Krishna. When the Brajabasis, where Mother Yashoda told the cowherd ladies that I will keep Krishna in the house and I will not let him out. So, because they were complaining about him stealing butter. The cowherd ladies, they prayed to Mother Yashoda, please don't do that. Please don't imprison him. The only reason we make butter is so that he can come and steal it. Then why do you complain? The only reason we complain is so that we get another opportunity to come and see him. That is why we want to complain. Now look from our perspective, the way, the kind of world we live in. The only reason we kind of do any services is so that it helps us be a great devotee, generally speaking. And the only reason we complain is because we feel that we have been hurt. It's not wrong, just a comparison. They want to make butter so that Krishna comes and steals it. Now Krishna can come in any form and steal it. So if you make a cake and another devotee comes and steals it, I don't know what to say about it now. How would we know when Krishna comes to steal it? Would Krishna come in this form as Nila Madhava? Would Krishna come as Jagannath? Would Krishna come as Gauranga? Would he come as little Nimai? And then, whenever we are hurt because certain demands have not been met with, we find a reason to complain. If we have a reason to complain where it helps us see Krishna more. Oh, we want to come and complain to you, Mother Yashoda, because Krishna is in your house, and this gives us a reason to come to your house and see his beautiful face. That is in sync with the mood of the cowherd ladies being expressed in this pastime. So, yena kena prakarena man Krishna niveshayet. That is the idea. Somehow or the other, in all aspects of our life, if we find a way to connect ourselves to Krishna, then the mind is Krishna conscious. And if the mind is Krishna conscious, why do we need Aradhyate jadi hari tapasa tathakim, na aradhyate jadi hari tapasa tathakim, antar bahir jadi hari tapasa tathakim. This is Narad Muni speaking, that if you are worshipping Krishna, why do you need to practice all these austerities? 4 regulative principles, fasting on Ekadashi. These are austerities for us. These are not, they are not really a source of happiness for us as of now. You know, the day when we are really happy because we've kind of have a big achievement. When we receive a big achievement in our life, the first thing that comes to mind is party. And have you ever realized when there's a party, typically, sometimes when there's a party happening and you are wanting to serve others, did you ever realize that in trying to serve others and trying to attend to your guests, you may have been fasting for a long time? You didn't even realize it, but you fasted. You fasted an entire day. And we did not even realize it. Oh, if the day of Janamashtami were just like that. Rendering service, we fast and we don't even realize we are fasting because we are so happy serving. So, Shri Devananda Pandit ji, if he had these thoughts, however, along with that, because he had associated with Vakreshwar Pandit, along with these feelings that how unqualified and unfortunate he was, that Sri Gauranga was right here in Navadvip and he could not get his association. Now he is in Jagannath Puri. Along with these feelings of helplessness, he also was very hopeful about the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Vakreshwar Pandit had informed him Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most magnificent and munificent of all incarnations. And that hope helped him not to go through a state of material dejection. Not to be depressed, because there was hope. Just feeling that we are unqualified, just constantly berating ourselves as being so lowly, so very unfortunate, without understanding how merciful Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, could lead us to a situation of deep unfulfillment. We may just land up trying to be so humble that ultimately we do not even accept ourselves to be beautiful parts and parcels of Krishna. So there is the feeling of helplessness, and there is also hope that Sri Gauranga is very merciful. Very soon, when Sri Gauranga did come to Kulia, and Devananda Pandit, he went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as did hundreds upon thousands of people. Devananda Pandit was one amongst them. Sri Gauranga did not even notice him. In fact, many years ago, as Nimaya Pandit, he had noticed him. This Pandit, he knows what is the meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He has absolutely no idea. He does not understand that devotion to Krishna and is the greatest, and a devotee of Krishna is very dear to Krishna. He doesn't understand that. He was angry. So he had noticed him, but he had noticed him as a person who was not properly serving the Srimad Bhagavatam. In this crowd, Devananda Pandit was one amongst the thousands. And feeling himself so fallen, from a distance, he offered obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This had never happened ever to Devananda Pandit, because he was so well known, people would naturally invite him to the front. Prabhuji, please. No, Prabhuji, you please come forward. Please, Prabhuji. Please. Because Sri Chaitanya was so very attractive, Sri Gauranga was this powerful force right there. And everyone's eyes was on Sri Gauranga. It gave some breathing space to Devananda Pandit. If we ever want to be free of the respect of our followers, try to introduce them to the beauty of Krishna, to the beautiful qualities of Krishna, because in the presence of the beautiful qualities of Krishna, their eyes will not notice us, and they may not be forced to offer us the respect that which we want to stay away from. So, Sri Gauranga called upon him, and he said, "You serve my devotee very well, Vakreshwar Pandit. Vakreshwar Pandit is very dear to me. How does Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu know it? The all-knowing feature is the quality of the Paramatma. How does Sri Gauranga know about it? How does he have the quality of the Paramatma? Because he is the very source from whom the Paramatma expands. All the information gets downloaded to the same server. Sri Gauranga is like the mother server. All the Paramatmas, they carry the information and they download it upon this server. Sri Gauranga, Sri Krishna. Every Paramatma in the heart does that. Hence, Sri Gauranga, he knew. You have served my devotee Vakreshwar Pandit well. I am very happy with you. When Devananda Pandit heard that, he fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, "My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I was a fool. I was so much caught up in my own world. I did not realize that. I never realized the supremacy of the divine form of Krishna. I did not understand what real divinity is. I was sinful to not be able to serve the supreme absolute truth. Because of my own sinful reactions, I could not take the benefit of your association when you were here in Navadvip. It is only by your compassion, your mercy, you are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Supreme Controller. It is just by your mercy that I have understood that I am your eternal servant. My dear Lord, please be compassionate upon me. Please shower your blessings upon me. And please explain to me the real meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Gauranga turned towards him and he said, O Devananda Pandit, the answer to your questions I will give today evening. It's already 12 o'clock. How should one understand the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam was explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Devananda Pandit too. He had specifically asked him, please help me understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So please come today evening at 7:30 for the final session of this super extended pastime. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or any reflections on what we spoke? And in the evening, I would also narrate another short pastime about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srimad Bhagavatam. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe some of you may not have heard this pastime before. So hopefully we will have time to also narrate that very short pastime too. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda